to JT Sports, and I'm back to you guys with another video. And I'm here with my Houston Texans 2019 NFL record prediction, predicting the Houston Texans win-loss record week by week during the 2019 NFL season. So the Houston Texans and this very crowded AFC South division, I feel like any team in this division can win it. But I think I'm going to roll with Houston to win the division. I just think, they have the best team in this division, other than the offensive line and, questions at the cornerback position. This Houston Texans team is a pretty good team, and I think they could actually make some noise in the playoffs. So, week one, they have a tough game. They have a tough game at New Orleans on Monday Night Football. We know New Orleans is one of the toughest places to play in all of the NFL. Since it's going to be week one, it's going to be a sold out crowd. It's going to be very loud, very noisy, very tough place to start the season off with. And I'm going to give them a loss this game. And I think the difference of them winning and losing this game is I feel they could win this game if they were at home at Houston instead of having to go on the road and play the New Orleans Saints, because that is a very tough place to play. So I just think that's going to be a big disadvantage for the Houston Texans. They could win this game, but since New Orleans is going to be at home, I just can't see them winning this game to start the season off with. So they start on 1. Before I get into my week 2 prediction, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I upload NFL videos, NFL content daily. Now, week 2, they play the Jacksonville Jaguars. This is their first divisional game. And I think the Jacksonville Jaguars win this game the first go around. I know Houston is going to be at home, but I think Houston, it being early on in the season, they still have to try to figure out the offensive line situation. They're still going to be trying to, figure out who's good at which position and stuff like that. And I think the offensive line is going to get better as this season progresses. But I just think they need a little bit more time to, get some chemistry going. And I think this group will get better as the season goes along with. But it's very tough, for this offensive line to, be facing the Jacksonville Jaguars, who have one of the best pass rushing cores in all of football. So that's going to be a very tough assignment for the Houston Texans offensive line to handle. Plus, the Jacksonville Jaguars defense is already pretty good. We know about Jalen Ramsey and AJ Bouye, one of the best cornerback duos in the NFL. Also have a very athletic linebacking core. So I think the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to win this game the first go around. Week 3, they play the Los Angeles Chargers back on the road at Los Angeles. I think this is a game that Houston Texans can win. This is, in my opinion, going to be a pretty high scoring game. I want to go with Houston to win this game 28-27. I think it's going to be that close of a game. And I really like Houston in this matchup because I think this wide receiving core is really good, and a lot of people are sleeping on this wide receiving core, the Houston Texans. They got DeAndre Hopkins. We already know he's one of the best wide receivers in all of football. We have Will Fuller here, who is also a very good wide receiver when he's able to stay healthy. If Will Fuller is able to stay healthy, he's a Pro Bowler. And they also have Kiki QT, who was a very good slot receiver in his rookie season last season. Injuries also derailed his rookie season as well. So I think the Houston Texans are going to be able to win this game. I think their offensive line, struggles, but with Deshaun Watson and Lamar Miller and those two guys in the backfield, they're going to be able to make some big plays in the running game for Houston that should ease up that pass rushing attack of the LA Chargers. So I think the Houston Texans come out for victory this game. Week 4, they play the Carolina Panthers back at home, have the win in this game as well, because I just don't know how I feel about the Carolina Panthers secondary. I don't think it's that good. I think that's pretty much their biggest weakness on this football team is that secondary. In Houston, with those wide receivers, they're going to come in there and they're going to expose that. Dante Jackson, he's a pretty good cornerback, but I don't see him slowing down a guy like DeAndre Hopkins. And we already know what Will Fuller, if he's able to stay healthy, what he's going to do. He could have a big play in this game that goes for about 60 yards, Also got Kiki QT. I just think that's too much for the Carolina Panthers secondary to handle. But the Carolina Panthers defensive line, they got Gerald McCoy there, they got Dontari Poe, they also got Kawan Short there. So they could make things interesting up front with their pass rushing attack as well. But I just think Houston, they're going to get the better of that matchup in the secondary there, and that's why I had to win in that game. Week 5, they played the Atlanta Falcons at home, which is a pretty interesting matchup. The Atlanta Falcons have one of the best wide receiving cores as well, with the Houston Texans having guys like Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley. They also have a pretty good tight end there as well. Also got Mohamed Sanu, who is one of the better slot receivers in all the NFL. So this is going to be a pretty interesting game. I think this game is going to be very close, very high scoring. So I'm going to go with the Houston Texans to lose this game. I think the Atlanta Falcons are a better team than the Houston Texans, more complete. And I think the Atlanta Falcons win this game 27-24. It's going to be a very high scoring game. It's going to be very close in the fourth quarter. I just think it's going to be coming down to who gets the ball last. So I just think Houston is going to lose this game here. So this is their third loss of the season. So they are 2-3 going into week 6 against Kansas City at Kansas City. Arrowhead Stadium is one of the toughest places to play in all of football. Very loud there as well. Houston, I think they win this game here. Kansas City's defense still has a lot of holes. They have Frank Clark there, but they're just basically rebuilding on the defense side of the ball there. So I think Houston, they're going to win this matchup. I think they're going to end up outscoring the Kansas City Chiefs and Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. I think this game is going to be another high scoring affair. I'm going to go with Houston to win 31-28 there. I just think Houston, they're a more complete team than Kansas City. Although, Houston, they have their questions on the secondary. Their defensive line is very good. You got J.J. Watt and Jadeveon Clowney. It doesn't get better than those two pass rushers on your team. They also have a pretty good linebacking core as well. So I just think they're a more complete team than what Kansas City is. Week 7, they go back on the road to face a divisional foe and the Indianapolis Colts. Have them winning this game here, the first matchup out of two. And at this point, Houston's offensive line is starting to get some chemistry. They're starting to get a lot better, and I think that's going to be big going into this matchup against Indianapolis, who they don't have any pass rushers who are necessarily going to intimidate you other than Justin Houston. So I think this is going to be a very interesting matchup. Deshaun Watson versus Andrew Luck. Two good quarterbacks squaring off against each other. You also have Bill O'Brien versus Frank Reich. Two good offensive minds, So I think Houston is going to get the better of this matchup the first go around. I just think, they're going to be the better team and week 7 than the Indianapolis Colts. Week 8 they played the Oakland Raiders. The Oakland Raiders, this is going to be an interesting matchup because they have a bunch of bad guys. Richie Incognito, they got Antonio Brown, Vontez Burfict. So this game is going to start out pretty close, but after the second half in the fourth quarter, I think Houston is going to pull away, and I think they win this game fairly easy, probably about 10 points or so, because I just don't think Oakland is going to be able to stop Houston's offense enough times to win this game. And I also don't think their secondary is capable of stopping the Houston Texans wide receiving core and passing attack as well. So Houston wins this game in week 8. Week 9, they play the Jacksonville Jaguars again at London. I have them winning this game. I can't see them losing to the Jacksonville Jaguars twice. And I know the Jacksonville Jaguars are world beaters and very hard to beat at London. But Houston's offensive line should be a lot better than how they were week 2 of the season. And so I don't think that pass rushing unit of the Jacksonville Jaguars is going to be as effective as it once was week 2 early on in the season. So I have Houston winning this game. Week 10, that's their bye week there, a very big bye week before they go on the road and face the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens, their defense is going to be very good. I'm going to go with the Houston Texans to win this game simply for the fact that, the biggest question is going to be is Baltimore Ravens, are they going to be able to, pass the ball? And they're going to have to be able to, get some points through the air. I don't think they're going to be able to do that. I love Lamar Jackson, but I just think, Houston, they're going to come here, they're going to stop the run, and they're going to force Lamar Jackson to pass, and then you tee off Jadavion Clowney and J.J. Watt, and basically you're going to have to ask Lamar Jackson to win the game with his arm. I do think he would be more improved as a passer, but I just don't think he's going to be that much improved to put up enough points to beat the Houston Texans. So I have the Houston Texans winning that game. Week 12, they play the Indianapolis Colts again on Thursday Night Football. I have them losing that game. It's going to be at home, but I just can't see them sweeping the season series with the Indianapolis Colts there. I just think the Indianapolis Colts are a good team as well. And these are two of the best teams in the AFC South. So I just can't see those two teams, getting swept by one another. They're going to split the series. Week 13, they play the New England Patriots. Now, this is interesting. Every time the Houston Texans play the New England Patriots, they always seem to, stay in their game. They come very close to winning these games. They just come at least one play away from winning. But I think this go around, the Houston Texans are going to finally be able to find that one play to finally knock off the Patriots. They've in a couple of years have came very close to beating the New England Patriots, but I think this time around they finally knock off the New England Patriots and they finally win. And this game is at home as well. Week 14, they play the Denver Broncos. This is going to be a very interesting matchup. Vic Fangio's defense versus the Houston Texans offense. Denver's secondary is pretty solid for the most part. Their defense is going to be really good, but I'm going to go with Houston to win this game because in a shootout, I'd rather go with Houston. If this is going to be a very high scoring game, which I think it will be, I'm going to go with Houston to win this game because, in shootouts, I think Houston, their offense and their team is more geared towards handling, games that could end up being very high scoring. I think the Denver Broncos are going to put up some points, but I just don't think this offense is really built towards getting into high scoring games. And that's why I'm going with Houston to win this game. Week 15, they played the Tennessee Titans on the road. I'm going to go with Tennessee pulling off the win here. It's very hard to beat Tennessee at home, and Tennessee is a very scrappy team. It's also a divisional game, so I don't see the Tennessee Titans losing this first game at home. So I'm going to go with Tennessee to win this game. Week 16, they play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, this is another game that's going to be pretty high scoring. We know Bruce Arians' offense is going to be able to put up points in bunches, but Houston, I'm going to go with them to win this game because I just don't trust Tampa Bay's defense. In a game like this, they're going to have to be able to get some key stops if they want to win a game like this. And I don't think they have the personnel on the defense side of the ball and able to win a game like this when they're going to have to get one key stop. And week 17, the last game of the season for the Houston Texans, I have them beating the Tennessee Titans. Like I said, I don't see any team in the AFC South, sweeping anybody. I think everybody is probably going to split a game in this division, So the overall record that I have for Houston going into this season, I have them at 11-5. I think this should be good enough to compete for a second seed for a playoff bye because the AFC, we don't have really any legit teams. It's basically the New England Patriots and then it's everybody else. So I think Houston could very well be competing for a first round bye and the 2019 NFL playoffs. So 11-5 is the record that I have for the Houston Texans. Let me know what you guys think about my record prediction for the Houston Texans down in the comment section down below. Also make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more NFL videos and content. And thanks for watching.